fuel, give me fire, give me double shot inside.
Live from the land of enchantment, welcome to New Mexico for today's coverage, tonight's coverage of the Fuel Sportsman Series. We're here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, getting ready to kick off race number 6 of the season for the Truth or Consequences 120 from the Albuquerque Speedway. Race number 6 of the season for the Fuel Sportsman Series here on the North American Sim Racing Network and live here from ABQ on the NESRN. My name is Trey Wright, and we are ready for a fun one here on the, not really the high banks here of Albuquerque, but some pretty high banks here at 18 degrees. A little bit of a quasi-super speedway racing here at ABQ. Glad to have everybody aboard here for tonight's live stream, our Intercast on the North American Sim Racing Network. Got about 14 cars in the server with just under 8 minutes to go here in practice. And it is setting up to be a fun one here for race number 6 after our 3-week hiatus. And a stretch that has been thoroughly dominated by one man. He's not in the server just yet, but Dun LaPrade currently holds on to the points lead as we'll be halfway home through the 4th season of competition here in the Fuel Sportsman Series after tonight's 60-lap race. As Tyler Stallhood is going to make his season debut here in car number 7. A couple of fresh faces making their debuts here tonight as Emmy Schizzato in that Red Bull 97 car. Currently second on the grid right behind the 86 of Ike Durbin, looking for his first Sportsman win and Fuel win quite some time there in car number 86. It's Jason Stereo in car number 96 out on track. And no sign of the 86 of Durbin on track just yet. Only a handful of cars out here. One of them being the 24 of Jason Dady. Another one of the many drivers that have come over from the Maverick Cup Series as he overcooks it a little bit coming out of turn number 1. Jason Dady and that beautiful Jeff Gordon, number 24, DuPont Monte Carlo, that totally wasn't just painted about 2 hours ago by myself. There, that number 24 machine, that beautiful DuPont Exalta car. Also have Anthony Liccato trying to get into the server, and Kenny Campos in here as well in the 17. And I am proud of myself. This is my first time seeing this Tyrrell P34 tribute car that ran last week at Fuji, a race that was won by the 100 of Apollo Hyde, who's going to pretty much dump that 17 car hard into the outside wall, so that Elf car needing some bare bond. Got the quasi sixth wheel on that 17 machine as he'll go back to the pit area. That's a great looking car. There's Ike Durbin just now coming out of that Dark Matter Coffee number 86 Pontiac. One of 4 Pontiacs on the grid, at least on the starting sheet or on the spotting boards for tonight. Got 24 cars on the entry list, and it looks like we might only get 14. As Jason Stereo blipping in and out there in the 97. There's Apollo Hyde, who just trails a little bit in the point standings behind Dun LaPrade. Still no sign of the 74 here tonight, but we'll take a look at the point standings. Coming out of race number 5 last week at Fuji, Apollo Hyde was able to get that first win of the season after finishing in second nearly I believe it was every race. Apollo Hyde has finished second, and of course Dun LaPrade winning the opening 4 races of the year, finally following to Apollo Hyde, and those two have quickly gained a pretty good ledge over Ike Durbin coming into tonight's race. Emmy Schizzato back by 185 points, and Grant Warren up inside the top 5. Once again there in car number 33. He's also been blipping a little bit in and out of the server. He's not on track currently But Vincenzo Focasato, he's unfortunately going to miss tonight's festivities as he's at a wedding party. So we wish him the best of luck here this evening. Hopefully he'll be tuning in while everybody is getting a little bit drunk there out in Michigan. But Crystal Bennett, Connor Edwards, Kenny Campos, and Rafaela Sorensen rounding out the top 10 in the points. But this is a very interesting track here at Albuquerque. For those who know the NR2003 fairly well, it is basically a little bit of a reskin and a wider version, I should say that. That's a Freudian slip, if anything. It's a wider version of the Greenville Spartanburg Speedway, which, of course, that's got high banks of 36 degrees. That is more of a traditional super speedway, but this track races a lot like Michigan. It's a little bit of the super speedway version of Michigan, or the oval version of Michigan, I should say. To take a look at the track map. And you got 4 corners all banked at 18 degrees. And again, it's a very flat track. It races a little bit like the combination of Michigan and New Atlanta. We're going to see pack racing be a little bit of the norm here tonight. And so far, we've got 14 cars that'll be starting here, but it's going to be a 60-lap event here for the Truth or Consequences 120 this evening. For 120 miles. Tire wear isn't going to mean a whole lot tonight. It's really going to be a little bit of a fuel conservation race, but there is a little bit of tire wear, about a half second to a whole second of fall off at the end of about a 30-lap run. But the fuel window being right at about 30 laps, the ceiling for these guys. We'll see if any of them are able to push it, as Apollo Hyde will push that 100 Subaru into the wall. But this could very well be a 2-stop race. We'll see if anybody is able to stretch it into a 1-stop. We know Apollo Hyde loves to try and stretch things a little bit. Same thing with Dunlop Prod, as he is not on track just yet. There's Blake Warren there in that 8 machine, representing the cystic fibrosis. With May being Cystic Fibrosis Appreciation Month. Cystic Fibrosis Awareness Month, I should say. Beautiful looking paint scheme that he will be piloting for the month of May for both of our broadcasts here. In the month of May here for the Fuel Sportsman Series. We've got the broadcast here tonight at ABQ, as well as the broadcast in a couple of weeks on the 29th here of May. And actually, if we'll try and find it here, there's our upcoming broadcast slate with 3 broadcasts remaining, excluding tonight. 4 including tonight. We got Chicagoland and IRP, those are going to be the next 2 races. They will not be NASRN covered events, but you can still find those streams over on Tyler Stallhood's channel. You can find them on Twitch with Crystal Bennett. Or with Apollo Hyde. I think Crystal is still on YouTube. Then we go to the Talladega Super Speedway on May 29th as... Oh, that is a netcode crash if I've ever seen one, with Emi Schizzato getting turned by Apollo Hyde. That's how you know we're right in the doldrums of practice. Then we go to Talladega, then we go to Watkins Glen. I just wrapped up recording a fantastic race at Watkins Glen for the offline league, for the offline series, for the Mission Barbecue Cup series, for those tuning in. That was a fantastic race. We'll go to Watkins Glen here in Sportsman. Not sure if we're going to run the boot layout or not. I believe it's just going to be the normal Papyrus layout. And then we'll have an off week for the penultimate race of the season before hopefully trying to pick things back up with a season finale from Michigan. Might be a scheduling conflict there, unfortunately, but overall, plenty of action on the horizon. And Ike Durbin running a 38.439 here in practice, top of the charts. And we will go to qualifying here in just a couple of moments, but we'd like to thank everybody once again for tuning into tonight's broadcast of the Fuel Sportsman Series. Blake Warren doing his best Dale Sr. 1999 Die Hard 500, if I'm not mistaken, reference, as he went headfirst into the wall and turned one upside down. There's no better way to kick off tonight's broadcast. It's been our first broadcast here for the Sportsman Series in quite some time. Like we said, we had that 3-week hiatus, so it's our first broadcast in a month here for the Sportsman Series. But we are ready to go here in qualifying. We'll let everybody turn them loose here. We're not starting soon, or we are starting soon. We're not quite done just yet. But overall, we'll send things downstairs for qualifying. We'll see who will be part of this 14-car grid here for tonight's running of the Truth or Consequences 120. Here from the Albuquerque Speedway on the North American Sim Racing Network's coverage of the Fuel Sportsman Series here on a beautiful Friday evening in ABQ. And by the looks of it, Apollo Hyde is going to go to the pole position with a 39.726. A whole tenth of a second, or a hundredth of a second faster than Emi Esquizato, as those two will sit on the pole position for tonight's race. No surprise to see Apollo Hyde top of the charts, as we'll get our starting lineup graphing going here. Trying to figure things out here. So we got 8 minutes to go. Just trying to 8 minutes of happy hour. And we will be right back here as Apollo Hyde is taking the pole position. We'll be back here in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. And we are back here with happy hour, just about halfway home here in Albuquerque. Trey Wright on the call here for tonight's broadcast of the North American Sim Racing Network's coverage of the Fuel Sportsman Series here from the Albuquerque Speedway. Keon Daly, top of the charts here in happy hour. And taking a look at the starting lineup for tonight. Apollo Hyde, top of the charts in car number 100. Emi Esquizato is going to make up the front row here for tonight's 60-lapper. Grant Warren and Ike Durbin will be in row 2. Rafaela Sorensen and Keon Daly will be row 3. Rich Roy and Blake Warren will be row 4. Jason Stereo with a top 10 start. He'll be to the inside of Kenny Campos in row 5. Jason Dady in his Fuel debut will roll off 11th on the inside of row number 6 to Dunlop Prod's inside. He was the final car to put down a lap time as Dunlop Prod, Crystal Bennett, Tyler Stolhood, and Anthony Liccato. 4 drivers that did not make it on time. Prod will be starting in 12th, the deepest that he has started all season long for the 15-car field here for tonight's coverage with 5 minutes to go here in happy hour. And we are expecting a fantastic race here tonight as the P34-17 machine moving out front like we're talking about Keon Daly moving in that 94 car, top of the charts here in happy hour with a 39.69. Pretty nice there for Mr. Keon, with 8 cars taking a lap here in Q. Rather happy hour so far. We didn't see Keon Daly throughout practice. He came in late. Same thing with Don LaPrade in the 74 machine. Keon looking to gain some ground in this championship battle towards the bottom end of the top 10 right now. We know he's really good on these super speedways. These lap car enterprise program cars are always really good. You know, Crystal Bennett had a good time, but unfortunately, for whatever reason, I think the game accidentally booted the 84 car out at the time. Was disallowed, so she's going to have to start from the back. But Keon, really accomplished super speedway racer with this type of racing as Dady coming down the pit lane. But once again, taking a look at the analysis for tonight, we have 15 cars starting instead of the 14 that were slated. I don't see Anthony Liccato out on track yet, so not sure. I know that he was having some technical issues there with the 13 car. It's a good-looking 13 car. We'll have to highlight it once we see him out on track, but that fuel window is going to make things muy interesante, as the locals would say here in ABQ. About 30 laps on a tank of gas. We'll see if anybody's going to try to stretch it past halfway. But this track, a carbon copy, at least design-wise, to Greenville Spartanburg. Even, you know what, you could probably say it's a carbon copy of New Hampshire as well. Of course, with the banking, like we said, races a little bit like Michigan, like Auto Club, and like Texas World, those classic D-shaped ovals with a little bit of that super speedway element peppered in there just a tad. Taking a look at our upcoming broadcast schedule, of course, we've got tonight's race at ABQ here on May Day. Beginning the month of May officially here today. You know, I didn't even realize it was May 1st until just now. That we're 22 hours into the month of May as Emi Schizzato goes top of the charts here. We got ABQ here tonight for Fuel Sportsman. Then tomorrow afternoon, we go back down. Speaking of Texas World, we go to the Texas World Speedway for a Texas two-step with the Mission Barbecue Cup Series. That'll get on at 2 o'clock Eastern Time right here on the NASRN. Corey Case sitting on the pole position for that race. And then, well, it's not the Texas Motor Speedway. I forgot to fix this graphic. It's the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Actually, no, it is fast. We are going to have fast at the Texas Motor Speedway. That's going to be on Sunday, May 3rd. It's going to be a little bit of a late one for me as I've got work at 6 a.m. the next day at Kohl's. But then we do have an FMGTC race on Tuesday on Cinco de Mayo. That's going to be from the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez at 2 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time right here on the NASRN for race number 5 of the season. Then we were talking about the Watkins Glen race. That'll be next Saturday afternoon on May 9th. And then next Wednesday, the Fuel Grand National Series gets back underway at the Dover Motor Speedway with the Fuel All-Star Race here for 2026. That's going to be a boatload of fun from the Monster Mile. That concludes our upcoming broadcast schedule here for the NASRN. Plenty of action all the way around. We've got so much online and offline action, and we have got a fun one here tonight with 15 cars ready to take the grid. Emi Schizzato is going to finish out happy hour as the leader here. But it is going to be Apollo Hyde as Kenny Campos off out of the wall. Yeah, much like Grand Junction, which is just a hop and a skip north here up in Colorado. Yeah, there's no fence out there in turn 1. So it's it's pretty interesting. I guarantee you that we're going to see cars going out of the ballpark. Fortunately for Vincenzo Focasato, he is not in this race. I think he has gone out of the ballpark enough for him. But 2 of his cars, with both Durbin and Roy, they're going to go out here for one final run with 20 seconds to go in happy hour before we'll turn them on and grid them up here shortly. But until then, we're going to briefly go back downstairs and get things started here for tonight's 60-lap event here at the Albuquerque Speedway. for tonight's running of race number 6. This is for the Truth or Consequences 120 for race number 6 of the season here for the Fuel Sportsman Series here tonight. We are ready to turn them on and grid them up as we are waiting on a handful of cars to come back here and grid them up as we're just on the outskirts of turn number 2. 15 cars on the grid. We'll send things downstairs for the command to fire the engines here for race number 6 of the season.
Drivers, start your engines!
And we are rolling off here with, looks like it's just going to be 14 cars rolling off here for tonight's 120 lapper. Like we're talking about, Apollo Hyde going to be sitting on that pole position, nice and orderly in that 100 Subaru machine. Taking a look at the starting lineup once again with Hyde and Emi Schizzato are going to be on that front row here for tonight's 60-lap event. Brett Ward and Ike Durbin will be back there in row number 2 with Rafaela Sorensen and Keon Daly in row number 3. Rich Roy, Blake Warren, Jason Stereo, and Kenny Campos will round out the top 10 with 14 starters on the grid. It looks like Licata wasn't able to make it. Here we go. Like we said, 60 laps on the board for 120 miles at this 2-mile banked oval. Pretty fast pace speed for these guys to come down as Apollo Hyde is going to lead them through the restart zone. Green flag is in the air. We're underway in ABQ. Let's go racing in Albuquerque. We might get 3 wide going through turn number 4 for the opening time under speed, but it's going to be Emi Schizzato who'll lead them out of turn number 4 for the opening time. Schizzato will lead lap number 1 of tonight. She's got Grant Warren right behind her and Rafaela Sorensen making up that bottom lane. Rafaela driving up the track just a little bit, able to hold on to it for the time being. And Apollo Hyde is going to wisely slot back into that 4th position as everybody will gain with their respective teammates. You got the Millennium Autosport duo right now nose to tail, and Grant Warren dives down to the inside of Schizzato. Here comes Hyde trying to break the middle there and make it 3 wide in the 100 car. Hyde now down to the low side. She might make it 3 wide for the race lead. Rafaela Sorensen getting a little squirrely with Schizzato. Those two teammates trying to get nose to tail. We nearly had 4 wide there for the race lead. And Hyde is going to jump up into that 2nd spot out of lap number 2. And already these guys and gals getting pretty racy in the opening stages. Keon Daly slaps the wall off too a little bit. No worse for wear there in that Cinnabon 94 car. Trying to bob and weave there in that 94 Dodge. His teammate for next season for the Fuel Grand National Series right behind him in the 84 of Crystal Bennett in that Irwin Tools 84 machine. We're going to go on board with Crystal Bennett here and take you for a lap around ABQ. Grant Warren slotting in right in front of that 84 Ford. Giving the 33 a little bit of a love tap, going down the back straightaway. Oh, Grant got a little bit sideways. You saw the back end step out there a tad. He's able to save it. Here comes Tyler Stolhood making his way from a 14th starting position up inside the top 5. He's in the low side of that 33 cars. We're off and running once again for home. 4 laps in the books. Keon Daly now has the low side of that inside lane. Not as dominant as we thought it was going to be, and Schizzato stepped out quite a bit there as the race leader. She's holding on. Remember, you go back to last season in Season 3 as Apollo Hyde trying to do the Herbie the Love Bug maneuver, getting into the outside wall, rode the lightning a tad, and she'll slot back, and now Rafaela Sorensen sideways. That's right in front of the rest of the grid. She's going to spin around, collecting Jason Dady. Blake Warren also involved, and the yellow flag flies for the opening time. 3 laps. 5 laps, I should say, into the contest. And they could only hold on for so long, and it doesn't look like anybody has significant damage. That all got started when the 09 broke sideways. I think Jason Dady may have stepped on the brakes a little too hard. He slid into that. Blake Ward was able to get away unscathed. Kenny Campos also getting a little bit of a tap there on that Elf Chevrolet. We're under the caution flag here for the first time in the Truth or Consequences 120 from ABQ. So it was one Rafaela Emmy Motorsports car spun around to put us under the first caution flag. The other one in that 2-car stable will be out front with Emmy Schizzato, who has led all 5 laps of this race. We'll bring the field down the pit lane, and, well, the question about pit stops isn't really going to be as big of a question as we thought, as everybody should be able to make this on one additional stop after this, if we remain caution-free. And Schizzato leading a horde of cars down the pit area. Again, pit road speed of 70 miles an hour for these cars. See Rafaela Sorensen trying to limp that Brahma machine out and away, and it's just going to be gas and go for all these guys, and Apollo Hyde is going to jump out in front of Emmy Schizzato. She'll be the race leader when we go back through the gears. Nobody stayed out. A couple of cars that were mostly involved in that accident taking some tires, but for the most part, pretty much everybody taking a splash and go just to get to the second half of this race before going back out here, before having to come down the pit lane once again. But we'll take a couple of looks at this accident here on lap number 5 of the event. That Rafaela was running 3rd at the time of this accident, and things just got way too squirrely in front of that 09. I think a little bit of a tap there from Keon, and a one final tap there for the 90, for the 7 of Stallhood is really what got things started. I'm not sure if it was Warren or Dady was the one that jumped on the brakes for that secondary accident. We'll take a look at what happened there with those guys as well, and I think it was Warren that just had no place to go. That wreck happened right in front of him. He jumped on the brakes, and that was a little bit of an ARCA break there from Dady. He got into the back end of that 8 car. It was already a multi, and even more cars got involved, so that's a little bit of a rookie mistake out of Dady. No harm, no foul there, but that's something that you just want to try and clean up as a little bit of a driver. Again, only 5 laps in his first fuel race. Again, this young man showing plenty of talent. It takes guts to run a Jeff Gordon car as a rookie. But Emmy Schizzato is going to be usurped for the first time today, as Apollo Hyde, who won this pole position, will lead us back to the green flag. Remember, single file starts. Here for the restarts are the name of the game. And all 14 cars are going to remain in. We had Rafaela Sorensen come back down the pit lane. I think they wanted to try and patch up that Dodge a little bit more. Same thing with Keon Daly. So those two will go to the back end of the grid. It will be Apollo Hyde, Emmy Schizzato, and Crystal Bennett. Your podium going back through the gears here in just a few moments, cleaning up caution number 1 of the night here at ABQ. Hyde, Schizzato, Bennett, Stallhood, and Warren, your top 5 going back through the gears, and through the gearbox they go. Here on lap number 8 of the night, and a pretty good restart for both the 97 and the 100, and Schizzato ducking down to the low side. She wants that lead from Hyde, and Hyde is going to look for the crossover coming out of 2. Says, you know what? You want to try and pass on the inside? I can do the exact same thing, and they bang fenders halfway down the back straightaway. I'm surprised they didn't netcode into one another, and that was nearly a bumper grab going through 3. Apollo throwing off the gloves and trying to chuck a couple of knucks at that 97 car, but Emmy remaining steadfast. You got Crystal Bennett making this a 3-horse race for the lead, and behind all these gals, it is a hornet's nest back here, right now led by Grant Warren, who's got the low side. Ooh, stepping out was the back end of that Roy Construction Pontiac. But Rich Roy able to hold on. He was just about slideways going through turn 2. He got Ike Durbin in line right with him. Hyde now back down to the low side. Bennett right behind her. Those guys, those gals, I should say, trying to draft, and Bennett stepping out of line a little bit. Able to hold on for the time being, as we are 1/6 of the way through the Truth or Consequences 120 here tonight, and we got 3 wide, a couple of rows deep. They'll file it back down to 2 wide. Tyler Stolhood's going to step up the track just a tad. And now the blue Pontiac Brigade of the Millennium Autosport duo trying to draft their way to the front. Another man making himself, oh, we're going to talk about Dunlop Prod, but clipping the apron a little bit there was Rich Roy. That car is the definition of pretty loose right now as Grant Warren goes to the top side for the race lead. And you can see that 29 car. He is yeeing and yawing, pitching and rolling all over the place. You can see that, watch that back end really step out there. We'll go on board. We're going to go on board with Apollo Hyde here. And just watch this 29 car. Actually, we'll probably get a better view there from the 86. Just watch how much that 29 Pontiac is really yawing, especially going through the apex of the corners. Going to give his teammate a little bit of a bump going down the front straightaway. Grant Warren will go to the lead, and up the track he goes. Oh boy! He is just hanging the entire back end of that car way, way out of there. And that might cost him a little bit. That's going to cost him potentially 2nd or 3rd. Field will fan out. 13 laps in the books as Grant Warren holding on to that top spot for the moment. Yeah, we're looking at the replay over on our other monitor of just how sideways that 29 car was. And he is still pretty up there. It's trouble sideways, and around goes Tyler Stolhood. Is that going to be yet another caution flag? It will be. Stolhood got a tap from behind, and it looked like for a second he was going to go airborne for a flying crash down the back straightaway. Fortunately, it looked like all 4 tires stayed on the ground. And we made it 7 laps. Well, we made it a solid 8 laps or so, and it looks like he got a tap from Crystal Bennett on the initial view on the monitor. Not what you want there for the league admin, as he got a little bit of a bumper grab there, unfortunately. I was looking at it, yeah, it just looked like a simple bumper grab. No harm and no foul. And we'll see these guys probably come down the pit lane once again. Although, I don't know. We got 46 laps to go. We're only a quarter of the way through this race. And they can't mathematically make it to the end here. So I think track position at this stage in the race is a little bit more important. Ooh, Emmy is going to come down, and that's going to bring everybody down. That is indeed a bold strategy, as everybody coming down the pit lane this time by Jason Dady is going to remain out along with Blake Warren. We'll see if Dady indeed got that lap led. And he did. So the first career lap led for Jason Dady. It does come on pit strategy, but that is going to give him a pretty good opportunity with that starting position. A close race off of the pit lane between the 97 and the 100, I think. Yeah, Mig had that 100 car beat. Grant Warren slotting back a couple of spots coming out of the pits, and Rich Roy is going to pick up a couple as well. So 2 cars will stay out. 12 cars all come down the pit lane. And we'll get an official view at what happened there with that 7 machine spinning halfway down the back straightaway. So he was running in the 6th spot at the time. See, was there a little bit of bumper grab? Oh, he got loose. And that looked to be a netcode issue, unfortunately. I mean, he did get a little help. That's why we had the multi come out in some way, shape, or form. But we'll get one more look at it here before tossing it back towards the live cars. Coming down the back straightaway here, getting ready to go back under the green flag. A little bit of a tap, and that nearly caught Dunlaprod as he just about caught that 7 car in the quarter panel. Fortunately, he was able to wheel that thing straight. And he will remain in the race as all 14 cars remain in the race for the time being, as Stallhood coming back down the pit lane as the field has gotten the 1 to go signal here. We take a look around some of the out-of-town scores here. You know, we are primarily a racing channel, but we do have, it's way old at this point, but we do have some hockey content. But taking a look at some of the scores around the National Hockey League, the Tampa Bay Lightning have come back from a 3-1 deficit. Actually, no, it was a 2-2 deficit. Montreal could have eliminated the Lightning today, but Tampa Bay won 1-0 in overtime to force Game 7. Likely Monday night down in Tampa. And for the first time in 19 years, the Buffalo Sabres with a 4-1 victory have taken down the Boston Bruins, and they will advance in the Stanley Cup playoffs to the 2nd round for the first time in nearly 20 years. For that Buffalo organization, the Golden Knights and Mammoth tied 0-0 halfway through the first period, and we're just past the quarter of the way mark through tonight's race as Jason Dady and Blake Warren, the only 2 cars to stay out, will lead us back through the gearbox they go. And already Schizzato trying to get aggressive. Dady's going to throw the block in the 24. We've seen Dady more towards the middle part of the field, and we'll have to see how Schizzato races the rookie as Dady trying to lead a blazing number of cars down the back straightaway. Schizzato right on the rear bumper. Dady tracking up the track. That 97 car turning really well through the apex of the corners. Looks like she might take the race lead. Hyde trying to get the run on the outside. Going to push that 24, and now a dive bomb down low. 3 wide for the race lead. 3 wide for 4th. Nearly 4 wide as Keon Daly is going to think better of it. Are we going to go 4 wide? Rich Roy going up the track. His spotter is going to tell him he's clear even though he's not. And we're side by side for the race lead as Apollo Hyde starting to push the envelope a tad. Got Hyde. You've got Schizzato, all these guys behind the 24 of Jason Dady. That 24 machine trying to rip it around here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Do understand we've got some frame rate issues with some of the crummy Wi-Fi and the storms going through my area currently. Now I think we're back up to a decent frame rate. Better than what we used to have back here prior to 2026. The 2025 coverage, not exactly the greatest. And you know, this is our first. Ooh, Emmy stepped out there. She goes up the track to the inside, goes Apollo Hyde, and she bit off a little bit more than she could chew. Oh, we had 1 car down low. That was Dunlaprod. He got tight off of turn 4, and it looked like he was able to catch it. Dady doing a really good job holding this lead right now, but he's leaving that bottom lane pretty open. That's exactly what that 97 car wants. Grant Warren doing a really good job of pushing. You got Keon Daly back in here as well. He wants to go to the inside of this duo. Grant Warren's going to fall back a little bit. Daly now trying to push this 97 car to the race lead, and he will. Take a look at the Hornet's Nest out back behind this Hershey, this Cinnabon 94 car as he wants the race lead. Keon Daly moving underneath of Schizzato for a moment. Not able to grab anything there, and now the field's starting to shake and bake a little bit. Schizzato stepping out on the back end. A little bit loose there on corner exit, and as the whole field fanning out, Rafaela Sorensen trying to body the 7 car away out of the way. Dady now caught in the middle with Schizzato, rather Sorensen trying to catch up to her teammate right from behind. He got a dodge and a Ford, 2 teammates on the bottom end of the track as we approach the midway point through tonight's race. Dady still caught in the middle. Keon Daly might also be caught in the middle. We might go 4 wide. We are going to go 4 wide. Paulo Hyde wants to tangle on the outside with Bennett. Give him the drafting help. Blake Warren also through there as well. And I think Dunn the Prod is just trying to bide his time, awaiting what chicanery is going to come on here in the next couple of laps, because these guys are getting really racy, getting to the halfway point. Because again, you do get bonus points for leading at halfway. Tyler Stallhood wants to dance with Rafaela Sorensen. A 4-car breakaway on the inside. And that outside lane starting to get a little bit formed up. Up the track goes Stallhood. Durbin having to put on the brakes just a tad. Dragging the brake a little bit there to not run into the 7. Bennett right behind Hyde, giving the push to the 100. That's Subaru trying to go out front. The lone Subaru on the grid with Taylor Stolworthy not on the grid here tonight. Dady back up into 3rd, right behind the 2 REM cars. And how about Jason Stereo trying to make his way inside the top 10? He has been methodically towards the back of the grid, and Jason's a driver we don't typically see up with the leaders here. But here he is, just outside of the top 10, ran 12th that last time by. He's actually up to 11th. He's trying to crack inside the top 10 here in that Unicol Union 76 number 96 car. That outside lane is aggressive. I think Ike Durbin realizes it. That gut feeling is telling him to drop back with his teammate as these guys are getting real racy. They are getting really aggressive. This battle for 4th as Daly goes up the track, and these guys, they're cycling a little bit. Typically, like, ooh, Blake Warren shoves Apollo Hyde. Apollo's gonna go up the track. She's able to hold on. We remain green. But like I was talking about, these guys starting to cycle a little bit. You go to NR2003 offline races at a track like this, and the field loves to cycle about. The inside lane is the dominant line at a track like this, particularly with the NR2003 AI. And if you're a fan of super speedway racing, as we got, Rafaela Sorensen way out of shape, back up the track into the 24, hard into the wall goes Dady. He collects Grant Warren with him. Caution flag is gonna fly, and that was incredible until it wasn't, and that might be the end of the night for Jason Dady. Grant Warren also with a fair amount of damage in the 33. He had nowhere to go. And that 24 team having to tow that Chevy Monte Carlo back to the pit stall, and that is nothing short of unfortunate there for the rookie driver making his debut. And well, that all got started there Rafaela, looking at it initially, she got a shove there from Dady, and she got back up the track. Oh, my Lord, Grant Warren, nowhere to go, and that smacking hit there for Dady, that's absolutely going to take him out of the running. And this came at a very interesting time in the race as well. Everybody's going to come down the pit lane. But here on lap 28, it'll be lap 30, exactly halfway when we go back through the gearbox. If this race goes caution-free, which the way it's running right now, I'm not sure that it will, but these guys, for the way that they've been racing, they have been pretty calm for the most part. Got to knock some wood there. But for the most part, these guys have been able to hold on. But I imagine it's going to be a full tank of fuel for a lot of these guys. Rafaela Sorensen's going to take tires. No, it's just going to be a half a tank of gas for the 97 team. Schizotto and Tyler Stolhood out and away. It looks like Apollo Hyde is going to take a full tank. It is a bold strategy. Again, these guys can do about 30 laps on a tank of gas. And Rich Roy staying out. You know what? I don't hate this strategy out of Rich. You're staying out. You might as well get a lap lead. And I imagine that he will come back down the pit lane to service his car, as we're not going to get to the halfway point under this yellow flag. But that was a hit and a half for Jason Dady. He's trying to repair that car. I'm not sure how well they're going to be able to repair it, but that was not what you want. We'll follow along with the 24. He gave the 09 to Rafaela a shot. Back up the track, just tapped the 24, and oh my Lord. That thing went head first, roof first, into the outside wall. And fortunately, Dady is all right, but that was one of the biggest hits that we've seen here in Fuel in quite some time. We'll get one more look at it here. Gave a little tap to the 09. Rafaela thought she had it saved, tracked up the track, net-coated in the 24, and fortunately for Jason, he didn't go out of the ballpark. He remained within the confines of the track. And he has officially pulled that car behind the garage area. They were not able to repair it in time. And that's a tough break for the rookie. And we'll go on board here with this 24 car on this next replay. We'll see what he saw from his vantage point. Gave the 09 a little bit of a tap. He just wasn't able to save it, and a very aggressive hit into the outside wall. Not what you want. And a very unfortunate end to the race here tonight for what was looking to be a very promising evening. And that's going to shake things up a lot here, as we did get cars come back down the pit lane. So here we go, Tyler Stolhood is going to get a bonus point, a couple of bonus points here for leading at the halfway point. So you can officially cue the Bon Jovi in this one as we're back underway. Keon Daly looking to pull a Kyle Busch on the outside. But we are halfway home. Where are we? I think next time by is going to be halfway home. Nope, we are officially halfway home. So Tyler Stolhood in his first race of the season is going to get a halfway lap lead bonus. And we are off and running with 13 cars still in the race. Dady, unfortunately, out of the race, but he did get a couple of laps led. And now Apollo Hyde wanting to get aggressive with her fellow admin. And look who is up to third, Dunn LaPrade. He's been quiet all night long, but he's up here with 29 laps to go. And same thing with Blake Warren. We know Blake has been always really good at these super speedways. Got that good old-fashioned Dale Jr. 8 number. Switching from the 12 that he ran last season for the Fuel Grand National Series back over to the 8 here. And he does have his brother right behind him. Ford right behind a Chevrolet. Diving down to the low side. Warren trying not to step the back end of the car out. And he's going to go 3 wide. Hyde. Ooh, nearly a money block there out of the 100. I think Mini Tyrell or Drew Dollar would be proud of that money block, and that's going to stack up the field. We got 3 wide. We got just about 4 wide. Durbin thinking about forcing the issue. All this happening behind the 7 of Stallhood. He's trying to lead everybody out at bay, but the dominant car of the night so far, Remy Schizzato, oh boy. These guys are getting real aggressive. Coming out through here, and Schizzato trying to march her way back up through the front on the inside. Affiella looking to go back down low as she's been involved in 2 different crashes here tonight. Fortunately, she's remaining in the race up into that 12th spot of 14 starters. We know all these guys and gals are really good at these super speedways. Crystal Bennett lining up behind this 100 car. She's always been good at the super speedways. Her lone Grand National Series win comes at the Talladega Super Speedway. You're on board with the Irwin Tools Ford. Looking to give Hyde a little bit of a bump. Dunlaprod giving Stallhood a bump down the front straightaway. And these bumps are going to turn into bangs pretty soon for all of these guys and gals. Super Speedway racing here in the Sportsman Series is electric. And we are going to see it one more time here this season for our next broadcast. Here from the Talladega Super Speedway later on in the month. Let's take a look at the rest of the season 4 schedule. We'll be officially past the halfway point of the 12-race slate after tonight here in 25 laps. Blake Warren to the lead, Emmy Schizzato right behind him. Schizzato in the 97, Warren in the 8, Keon Daly in the 94. And how about that for Rafaela Sorensen? She would be able to complete the spin and win tonight, the double spin and win, if you will. She's got plenty of time to go in this event. 24 laps remain this next time by. 3 cars down on the low side, breaking away from everybody else. And I, unfortunately, am out of cough drop, so if my voice sounds a little bit raspy towards the end of this race, you'll know exactly why. And I think Dunlaprod is trying to get my voice raspy as he will go down to the low side. Getting pretty aggressive. Ooh, Sorensen loose underneath of Daly. We know that Brahma Dodge has been so wrecking loose all night long, but she's been able to hold on to it for the most part, aside from a couple incidents she's been in. She had that really impressive save on that last caution lap. Daly blocking Hyde on the outside. Now the outside getting formed up. Caught in the middle there is Laprade. He's got a bird's eye seat of all this chaos, and Hyde nearly ducking out of line. Up the track goes Warren. He's cycled out to the boondocks. Blake Warren in the back, Grant Warren in the front. He's up to 3rd, and all these guys and gals behind the REM teammates. Emmy Schizzato and Rafaela Sorensen. But the question remains, if we remain green, which I don't think we are, and there, oh boy, nearly right on cue, Apollo Hyde with an incredible save here on lap 38 to keep this race green, and the broadcaster's jinx damn near striking immediately. What I was going to say before we had almost the save of the century for Apollo Hyde is that we could have, I'm trying to catch my train of thought here, is that if this race goes caution-free, it's going to make pit strategy very interesting. We had a couple of guys and gals come back down the pit lane that last caution flag. Looking at it once again, that was, oh my lord. I cannot believe Apollo didn't wreck that 100 car. What an incredible job out of one of the all-time winningest drivers here in the Fuel Racing League, and she's going to be back up in this third spot. She has gone literally nowhere. You cannot count her out. She's down to the inside. Ooh, a little bit of door slamming there with the 94, the 84. 20 to go at the line. 40 miles remain in the Truth or Consequences 120. Here on a beautiful Friday evening here in the great state of New Mexico, the land of enchantment. It has been an enchanting race so far, and Rich Roy nearly enchanting his best Kevin LePage impression as he went upstairs, was able to catch that 29 Pontiac. Plenty of manufacturers being represented. You got a Toyota with Tyler Stallhood, a Subaru with Apollo Hyde. You got a Ford, you got a Dodge. You've got another Dodge back in here. Now trying to get lined up was Keon Daly. I think he was trying to get up with his Lap Car Enterprises 84 teammate of Crystal Bennett. And another driver joining Lap Car Enterprises next season for the Fuel Grand National Series is going to be Tyler Stallhood as he gets into Apollo Hyde. Hyde jumping way out of the gas. And she has been a magnet for trouble here so far in this race. She's up in front of that 84. Schizzato and Sorensen continue to pace the field. 4 wide, nearly 5 wide. Hyde up top, Hyde up in the alley, Hyde up in the attic, I should say, as she was able to catch that car as that got loose out of 2. And Blake Warren cycling back up through here as well. Same thing with Ike Durbin. And remember, the point of no return is 5 laps to go. So these guys and gals don't have a whole lot of time to make a wreck happen when it happens. Because again, if you wreck with less than 5 laps to go, that's it. Game over. Good morning, good night. Now the inside lane getting organized. We're starting to see some train racing, and I think these guys might be fuel saving just a little bit here with 17 to go. Stallhood with an incredible move down to the low side. Throwing the block there was Schizzato. Stallhood trying to get back down low, and that's going to break up the REM duo. Stallhood, throws the block on the outside of the 09. That's going to jump Sorensen way out of line. Here comes Durbin. Here comes Daly. Paulo Hyde and Dunlapron trying to make things going on the outside lane. Doesn't look like they're going to get anything just yet. How about Kenny Campos looking for his second podium finish of the season? At least on the NASRN, he had that third place run at the Alley Raceway 1 month ago. He's looking to replicate that. But Emmy Schizzato trying to get her first fuel win, broadcasted on the NASRN, and that 97 car has been elite so far tonight. 15 laps to go, 27 laps now led for Schizzato. She has been the epitome of the dominant car tonight. Can she finish it? Ike Durbin wants to say no to that question. Same thing with Daly, same thing with Stallhood. And Rafaela Sorensen dropping like a rock, but now she's tandeming with Blake Warren down the back straightaway. Hyde's still in it. Grant Warren is still in it. Rich Roy as now down the low side goes Ike Durbin. Did he run out of fuel? Durbin way off the pace in the 86. I'm not sure if he was trying to come down the pit lane or not. Something amiss on that Dark Matter Coffee Pontiac. And that will essentially take him out of the running if we remain caution-free with 14 to go. Schizzato trying to hold off a wide pack. A very wide 3 wide. What a move there from Hyde. Completely taking the nose off the 94. She had just enough room, maybe about enough room for a Jean Sadator index card, and she was able to make the move. She's on the outside, dropping back a little bit with 13 to go. And do these guys have enough to make it to the end is the question. Looking back there with the 86, and you know, I think he may have just gotten shoved down to the inside. I'm not sure. I don't think it was a mechanical issue. He didn't come down the pit lane. 12 to go this next time by, and now the intensity ratcheting up second by second, inch by inch, molecule by molecule, and atom by atom. You know, it makes sense that we're starting to split some atoms here in Albuquerque. Rafaela Sorensen has rebounded. She's been drafting with that 33 of Grant Warren for the better half of the last couple of laps. They nearly break off together. I know she wants to get back up there and help that 97 car. Trying to go up to the point. Upstairs goes Hyde. Here comes Stolhood. He way lost it. He got super tight through the corner, and now he's going to get spun into the outside wall. Goes to 7. Back down the track he goes, and the yellow flag flies. This changes everything. So with 11 laps remaining in the Truth or Consequences 120 at Albuquerque, Tyler Stolhood gets a little bit of a bump there from Keon Daly, and that will destroy the back end of that Toyota. And that Camry absolutely caved in. And this will be the money stop here for these drivers. We know how well on the pit lane Schizato has been, and that all got started when Stolhood got way tight, and he got just about all 4 Goodyears off the ground with that hit. We'll take a look at the actual replay here in a second, but looking at it on the stream initially, that was ugly. And it looks like we're only going to get 2 drivers coming down. Well, this changes a lot here. With 10 laps to go. It looks like we're only got a handful of cars that came down the pit lane, so we'll go ahead and take a quick look at what happened here. Coming around to bring out this most recent caution flag as Tyler Stolhood's team has got their rear end taken off of that Camry. And we'll start from going into turn number 3 as Tyler was running in second at the time. Watch how tight that 7 car got. He steps out of line, goes up the track, and he's just losing so much momentum. There's nowhere for Keon to go. And bam, look at that hit that Tyler Stolhood takes. Fortunately, this ain't a next-gen car, so it's not going to have his bell rung like Alex Bowman had that one year. But that was a titanic shot. And we'll look at it one more time here. Yeah, he just got aero. I think he didn't get tight. He got aero loose behind the 97. A little bit of a tap and bang hard. All 4 tires just about getting up off the air. And that's how we're going to reset here with under 10 laps to go. The field has gotten the 1 to go signal. And this is going to be wild. It's essentially going to be a 3-lap dash to get to the point of no return. And once we get to the point of no return, all bets are off. And we don't know. That is going to be these final 10 miles of this race are going to be incredible. But we've got to get there first. And Emi Schizato looking to be dominant. She has been dominant tonight. She has led the majority of the laps. 33 laps led tonight for Emi Schizotto. But right behind her, looking for 2 wins in a row, trying to get May started off correctly, is Apollo Hyde, the defending champion of the Grand National Series. With the Grand National Series returning in just 13 days, looking to get this month of May kicked off right. Same thing for Rafaela Sorensen, Keon Daly, and Grant Warren. They are all looking for their first Fuel wins. And here we go. 8 laps remain, and ABQ green flag back out of the air. Schizotto with a fantastic restart right off of the gun. And we're off and running. 13 cars still in this race. About 12 of them with a solid shot of winning here, with Schizotto, Hyde, and Sorensen making Schizotto, Hyde, and Daly up on the top side. Kenny Campos down to the low side. I know Rafaela Sorensen in the back of her mind. You think back to that Grand Junction race last year here, where she was in a dead heat with Lucas Kennedy coming to the line. She's going to be in that second spot here with 7 laps to go. Here comes Don LaPrade marching his way to the front, the current points leader and championship favorite. Looking to get a solid result here tonight. Can he get to the front? You know, Don LaPrade winning this race after being at the back all day would be pure Don LaPrade, but Apollo Hyde, she has got that 100 machine dialed in. The admin of this division of racing leads the outside lane. 6 laps remain. This time by, we got 2 more miles to junk them up for a caution. Here we go. Schizotto, her and Sorensen locked back up. Remember, though, again, you go back to the last super speedway race we had here at that same Grand Junction race. Those 2 were locked up until the final 5 laps of this race. And what a run for Hyde. What a push that 100 car is getting from the 84 and 94. Not enough of a push, however. Schizotto's going to lead them back. We got about maybe a quarter of a mile to go to have another caution flag. It doesn't look like we're going to get one. 5, count 'em, 5 laps remain in ABQ. All bets officially off the table. 10 miles remain. All of them will be ran under the green flag, and here comes Apollo Hyde. She knows that now the time is to be aggressive, and here she goes for the race lead with Keon Daly in tow. Daly now to the low side, 3 wide for the race lead, as Schizotto now dropping back a little bit, trying to get some more drafting help from the 09. Hyde all the way on the outside, going the wrong direction. She is being hung out to dry like a wet towel on the outside lane. 4 to go from Albuquerque. Now it's Keon Daly. I don't know if Cinnabon carries bear claws or sauerkraut, but I don't think he would care as he's trying to go for the race lead. Back comes Schizotto. She's lined up with Sorensen. Those 2 have been nose to tail all night long for the most part. Daly fighting hard on the outside. He's got a teammate right behind her in Crystal Bennett. Bennett up the track, nearly gets into Ike Durbin. 3 by 3 wide for the race lead, coming around to 3 laps to go. Schizotto leads them off 4. Fanning out as the outside lane. Here comes Don LaPrade. He's going to take second away with 3 to go. LaPrade utilizing that push there from Ike Durbin. Ike is hungry for a win. He hasn't won since Augusta back last season in Season 3 of Sportsman. That was his last win in Fuel. And Don LaPrade, who has won 4 of the opening 5 races of the campaign, getting another big push there from that 86 Pontiac. Apollo Hyde has dropped way back in the 100. She might be out of the running here, barring something catastrophic happening. Popsicle 6 in the air, 2 laps to go. LaPrade by just a couple hundredths of a second. There could have been more than a few inches. Led that last time by. I'm really liking how that outside lane is working. Very loose off of the corner. There was the 09. LaProd's got the run. Lap and a half remaining here at Albuquerque. Oh, Rich Roy slideways. Up the track he goes. He's able to save it for the time being. And here we go. Around goes Ike Durbin. No caution. He's going to go to the back. White flag in the air. One more time around the Albuquerque Speedway. Emmy Schizzato has led 40 laps tonight. Can she lead the most important one here now? The outside lane lost a lot of help with that 86 car spinning around. Kenny Campos up in there into third. And Apollo Hyde might have a late race charge. I think Rafaela, she's going to be playing that tail gunner going down the back straightaway. We know how hungry Kenny is for a win. Rafaela just trying to bring her girlfriend home as off of turns 3 and 4. No comers out back. She's got a blocker out back going for the read. Back down to the low side. A dominant performance by Emmy Schizzato. She gets the win here in Albuquerque. The two REM cars were going to fight there at the end, and they finish 1-2, exactly separated by a tenth of a second, and Apollo Hyde is going to get that final podium spot. And what a win for Emmy Schizzato. What a win for Rafaela Emmy Motorsports. And they were the duo to beat here tonight, and really that's when the name of the game changed, was when Durbin spun coming around to the white. That's when that outside lane lost all of its momentum, and there was nothing that the rest of the field could do, as Emmy Schizzato taking it down at the front straightaway, and she's going to burn it down here in ABQ. Thought we were going to get dueling burnouts there with Rafaela. We are going to get dueling burnouts. The REM cars burning it down here. And what a win for Emmy Schizzato. One of the best stories here in the Fuel Racing League. A 97 car. I think she's going to burn it down all the way until the bare rubber is showing. And she is going to teleport over to victory lane after an incredible last couple of laps here at the Albuquerque Speedway. And what a race we had here tonight. 41 laps led for Emmy Schizzato. And she gets the checkered flag. I believe I'm not sure. It's not her first fuel win. It might be her first fuel points paying win, because she did get the preseason win at the Pensacola Road Course last season for GNS. But Emmy Schizzato and Rafaela Sorensen finish 1-2. Apollo Hyde finishes third. Those will be the three drivers you'll hear from in the booth here in just a little bit. Kenny Campos and Blake Warren will round out the top 5, and we'll go through the rest of the order a little bit later on. But we have got an elated Emmy Schizzato and Rafaela Sorensen to talk to on the other side of this break. Got the race section of the broadcast finished up. We'll get to the post-race interviews here in just a couple of moments after a wild one here at the Albuquerque Speedway with Emmy Schizzato, your winner of the Truth or Consequences 120.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me double shot of time.
The Fuel Sportsman Series never disappoints, and it certainly didn't disappoint here tonight. A fantastic, competitive race here at the Albuquerque Speedway. We have got our podium here ready to talk. We've got 2/3 of our podium ready for post-race interviews, but what a race we had here tonight with Emi Schizzato dominating. Now on the scorecard itself, with Schizzato leading 41 of the 60 laps, over 2/3 of the race, you wouldn't think it was exciting, but as we talk with our podium finishers, you're going to really tell how exciting of a race this was. But first and foremost, talking with the third place finisher in this race, driver of the number 100 Subaru factory team, Paulo Hyde. You got a copy of us here in the broadcast booth? Well, you have been on nothing short of a tear in terms of the podiums over these last couple of weeks. But here in the Sportsman Series, in the league that you run, you know, coming into a race like this where you're expecting a pretty good field size, it's going to be a competitive race. And then we get an absolute gem of a race. It looked beautiful on the broadcast. Just take us through what were your initial thoughts coming out of Albuquerque tonight.
Yeah, this is pretty much a standard fare for this track. Usually the first 15, 20 laps of this race are the drivers kind of getting used to what you need to do. The groove always moves all over the track as the race progresses, as drivers figure stuff out. And what we saw towards the end of that race is pretty much like the late race maturing section where you have the leader defending the low lane, desperately trying to prevent that crossover, and you have the people on the high side trying to use the whole track, which is typically faster. But the thing is with that high line is that you need to use the whole track. You can't start from the middle and cut back down in. You need to be against that outside wall and cut back down in.
Wake up.
Then it's faster. So it's really difficult to get people to commit to that line too, because everyone's so paranoid about being dive bombed going into turns 1 and 3, and I don't blame them. Hell, it happened to me 5 laps to go. We finally had the outside line running there against Emi and Hoffa, and I kind of just got left out to dry by the 2 people that I was working with all day. So that was the tough deal. We were in 10th place with 2 laps to go, and we recovered back to 3rd. I'd say that's a job well done.
Well, yeah, you were definitely going up and down through the grid all night long, and as it was really displayed by the top 2 drivers, you definitely needed a drafting buddy, a tandem draft buddy, if you will, to really be successful, and that's what everybody was trying to find, and that's really what we saw out of the REM cars of Rafaela Sorensen and Emi Schizzato. How dominant, how hard was it to really beat them here tonight with how dominant they were, lining up pretty much nose to tail almost half of the event?
Honestly, once I got a couple people to go with me on that outside lane, it was pretty straightforward. I mean, we pretty much drove right around them in 2 laps. So it was just a matter of getting people to commit to the line that was actually going to be able to take the lead. And when that ended up happening, those people that I got to commit the line with immediately abandoned me to take the lead, and then they got passed by Emi. So is what it is.
Yeah, sometimes it's the way that the cookie crumbles, but turning over to the championship battles, we're officially past the halfway point through the season. You're able to gain a little bit of ground on Dunlop in the championship standings. You know, going into Chicagoland next week, and then looking at the next couple of races on the slate for the back end of the calendar here for season 4. You know, what are you looking forward to track-wise? What are you looking forward to from just being able to be really competitive, and overall how you liking your chances of trying to usurp LaPrade in this very tight championship battle between the 2 of you guys?
Yeah, so with this actually really good race here, we're going to regain the championship points lead, albeit probably temporarily. because the next couple of tracks don't necessarily favor me all that much. But yeah, we've got a 9-point lead. I always kind of just clench my face whenever I go to one of these super speedway races. I put my hands together. I'm just like, please, Kami-sama, let me finish one of these damn races. Because it's happened so often where something will happen in the last 5 laps of the race, and it almost happened to me again. I was just barely able to avoid a spinning out Ike Durbin, and that's what allowed me to get a huge run in turn 1 on the entire pack, because I used the entire turn. They didn't, so everyone washed up the track. I slid up underneath everyone, and then I shoved Kenny probably faster than he wanted into turn 3, and that's what got him to slide up the track, and I was able to get third that way. I probably would have needed another 2 or 3 laps to try to work around the 09 and the 97. It definitely would have required me to push them into turn 1 or 3 harder than they want to get them to slide up. That's really the way to pass at this track if you're going to hold the low line. It's kind of like a short track even. Really counterintuitive. But nonetheless, great effort for our team. Definitely really happy. I got to say thank you to Crystal for pushing me for a large majority of this race. I wish we could have hooked up there at the end, but Ike kind of really slowed down the entire top lane and then ended up getting hooked. So that kind of took Crystal out of it.
Yeah, it was unfortunate for a lot of these drivers. And, the last 5 laps, once we're past the point of no return, that's where everybody is just shoving their chips towards the middle. And, for a driver that really doesn't like these super speedways, coming out on the bottom step of the podium with a nice third-place run isn't too bad of a run for you, all things considered. But, Apollo, before we let you go, you definitely know the best of anybody by now, the score with these post-race interviews. We'll give you the floor to thank anybody that you want here. If there's anybody you want to shout out, any sponsors you want to thank here on the NASRN airwaves. Yet another podium finish for Miss Apollo Hyde. The floor is yours.
Yep, I guess I've got to shout out another concert happening this weekend. This one is at Kogata-con in Edison, New Jersey. It's like these things are just coming rapid fire now with con season. There's going to be a idol event there. There's also the Irish One Man Live happening in Brooklyn this weekend as well, but the tickets are already sold out for that, so the only way that you'd be able to watch that is via live streaming. So I won't be at either of those 2 events, but I wish them the best. And hey, if I could get one person to check out any of the performers that go to these events, I would love it, because all these people are amazing.
Well, they definitely are, and it definitely sounds like a boatload of fun. And you were definitely having, I'm not sure how much fun you were having out there. Like you're saying, you hate super speedways and you avoid them like the plague. But a nice third-place run for you tonight. And we'll see you here in a couple of weeks when we get back on the GNS side of things here on the NASRN. But congratulations on a third-place run for you tonight. We'll see you here in a couple of weeks down in Dover for the season opener here for GNS.
All right, that sounds good to me. Thank you, Trey.
How's Apollo Hyde, driver of the number 100 Subaru Factory Subaru, a third-place finish here tonight. And quickly just trying to see, we had a view of just how close this third-place finish was initially. Right there at the line. We'll watch the replay of the finish there, but a dead heat. 4 cars under a blanket. You got Blake Warren Slideways coming across for 4th. And, of course, a side-by-side finish between the 97 and the 09 as the REM teammates were swapping fenders there for a brief moment in time. But time to bring the winner of the race into the broadcast booth, the driver of the number 97 Red Bull Ford Taurus, Emi Schizzotti. Got a copy of us here in the broadcast booth?
Yeah, got it. Loud and clear.
Well, that was certainly an exhilarating race for you tonight, leading 41 laps on a super speedway, and you were able to get the job done for your first win of the season. First and foremost, congratulations to you.
It doesn't feel real, man. That was to get my first win at Super Speedway. I never thought that would happen at Super Speedway. Just have no luck, no luck uh, here, and yeah, I'm just speechless. Uh, it yeah, just speechless. This is big.
It definitely is,
It
and
is big.
you've been a driver that we've been talking about a lot over on the GNS side of things. You were up there trying to go run for third in the standings over on the Grand National side of things, and you've been a really good driver. You've been developing a lot, particularly in this partnership that you've got with Rafaela Sorensen. And you guys, what really made you guys pretty much unbeatable out there when you guys were linked nose to tail? And you were able to lead the draft here for the majority. Just walk us through the strategy you guys had coming into this race here tonight.
We had the strategy of just sticking together. She's the only big help I had. She's my teammate after all. So we just said, yeah, we just gotta stick together. And we had a little bit of a deal that we would help each other for the race. But come the final corner, anything goes. But we were just coordinating everything, coordinating the moves we would make. And we noticed the inside line was a lot better than the outside line. Early in the day, we were like having like 2 cars on the inside line and having like 4 cars on the outside, and they couldn't have the same speed as we had. And even though they have more momentum, they wouldn't necessarily be faster. So we just stuck to the inside, and it just paid off. It paid off. Thankfully, it paid off.
It definitely did, and you had mentioned, you can't believe you got your first win on Super Speedway. You've been so close on these Super Speedways before. We go back to the race at Grand Junction where you dominated that race, unfortunately came up short there. What does it mean to finally get that first win of your fuel career, your first points-paying win of your fuel career, and to do it with Rafaela finishing in second, you guys side-by-side crossing the start-finish line?
Uh, well, uh, yeah, it means a lot. I'm not seeing ghosts anymore. That's one big thing for me, because coming close so many times at these tracks, and well, it means a lot for us as a team. It's, as everything we've been through, uh, it means a lot, and we're just really happy to get here. It's a ghost that's been haunting me, just coming up short every time. I'm not seeing ghosts anymore, so
You are
yeah.
certainly not. And hey, you know what? We saw Carson Hocevar finally break through the glass ceiling at Talladega last week, and you were able to do the same just 5 days later. Before we let you go, Emmy, you know the deal. We'll give you as much time as you want to thank any sponsors that you want. If there's anybody you want to shout out here on the NASRN for your first-time points-paying race winner here tonight, Emmy Schizzato, the floor is yours.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Red Bull. I'd like to thank Ford Racing for giving me the car, funding the program. I'd like to dedicate this win to my dog. My dog, she passed away earlier this year, and it means a lot to get this one with her riding by my side on name road with me. But shout out to Rafa, awesome teammate, awesome person on our track. I'd like to mention my Portland boy. You know who you are. Uh, yeah. It just mention everyone that supported me all the way. Been a rough path to get here, and it means a lot. I'm so proud to get a win. It was really it's really important to me to get a win here in the fuel Sportsman series, and yeah, that was tough. I felt like David Jr. that 2010 nationwide race at Daytona, the summer race, and just I would never expect to win to come as dominant and as unexpected as it is one. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much, everyone.
It has certainly been a long time coming for you, and it has been so fun to watch you grow over the last year that I've been really covering these broadcasts, and to see you finally get that first career win. Absolutely incredible. But Emmy, thank you so much for coming on post-race, and go celebrate with your guys, because you guys got the job done here. Finally, 1 strikes for you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Trey. Thank you.
User was moved
That was
out of
Emmy
your channel.
Schizzato, driver of the number 97 Red Bull Ford, your winner of tonight's running of the Truth or Consequences 120. Here this evening at the Albuquerque Speedway. We're going to go ahead and take a look at that last lap and just see how everything went down with these drivers. And we'll go ahead, we'll start it with exactly, we'll rewind a little bit here to back when Ike Durbin spun, because that was the real turning point of this race. As we'll go back here, we'll focus with the 86. He got a little bit of a tap there from the 84, and that's when the entire outside lane really dissipated. And that's when this 97 and 09 cars got locked together pretty much. And how about Hyde? Look at the run that Hyde got there on the inside. She talked about that mega run that she got. And I'm trying to see where this 74 car fell down to of Dunlop-Prod. Look at that massive shift, that massive push that she was giving the 17. Kenny and the P34 car got a little bit squirrely out back, and off the final corner, Hafiela faked high, went back down low, wasn't quite enough, and a dead heat like we said. And Kenny, unfortunately, the guys at the Fab Shop are going to have to fix that 17 car, but what a race we had here tonight. And Hafiela Sorensen comes out smelling like a rose here for tonight's running of the Truth or Consequences 120 here at the Albuquerque Speedway. And that is just about going to wrap up tonight's broadcast here. Before we'll get things going here, we'll do a top-down run through the order for the end, the official finishing results for tonight's running of the Truth or Consequences 120. But Emmy Schizzato, by a margin of exactly 1/10 of a second over Hafiela Sorensen, she led 41 laps on the night to win the Truth or Consequences 120. Hafiela Sorensen finished in second, and Apollo Hyde rounded out the podium in third. Kenny Campos and Blake Warren rounded out the top 5. They were 4th and 5th. 6th was Keon Daly. 7th was Dunlop-Prod. Like we said, Apollo Hyde will take the points lead going into Chicagoland next week. 8th was Rich Roy. 9th was Tyler Stallhood. A good recovery for that car, missing a rear bumper. And a top 10 finish for Jason Stereo as well. Grant Warren finished in 11th. Crystal Bennett finished 12th. Ike Durbin was 13th. And Jason Dady, the only car to be knocked out of the race with that bad accident. Glad to hear from him after the race as well. He finished in the 14th position. But that's going to do it here from the Albuquerque Speedway. Congratulations once again to Emmy Schizzato for winning the Truth or Consequences 120. And we are ready to go here like we were talking about. We've got a schedule chock full of events here on the NASRN over this opening week of May. But our next broadcast here for the Fuel Sportsman Series will be Friday night, May 29th. Down in Talladega, Alabama, where we're going to rock some rando and get rowdy down in Alabama. That's going to be coming at you at 9:50 p.m. Eastern Time right here on the NASRN later in the month. Of course, we've got the Fast Racing League on Sunday night as well. That's going to be our next broadcast from the Texas Motor Speedway. We've got Fuel Grand National coming up as well. Plenty of action here on the NASRN, your home for the Fuel Racing League. Thank you all so much for tuning into tonight's broadcast of the Fuel Sportsman Series. And from Albuquerque, New Mexico, on behalf of the Fuel Racing League and the North American Sim Racing Network, my name is Trey Wright. Have a great evening, folks. We'll see you later on this month from Talladega for the next race here for the Fuel Sportsman Series.